Hello, and welcome to a short video about complex sentences. I made a video a couple of days ago about simple sentences, which are one independent clause. Make sure you understand what a clause is before you watch this video. Complex sentences are the next level. Level up, level up, level up, level up. Can't stay level up without thinking of that song. And I gave you a little formula here. Complex sentences are independent plus dependent or dependent plus independent. Well, I can't really say that. It's a tongue twister. So we talked about commas, right, and how they help us with clauses. Here is one way that commas join clauses. They take an independent clause and they connect it to a dependent clause. Remember my Kit Kat metaphor. So for example, I like kittens. That's an independent clause. Could be its own sentence, could stand alone. Or then we have a dependent clause, when they are purring. That can't stand alone. It needs more information, like I like kittens. Yeah, I like kittens when they are purring. And here's how we join it with a comma. I like kittens, comma, when they are purring. Here's another way you can flip it. You can start with your dependent first and your independent second. If you tickle me, comma, I will slap you. So we have a dependent clause followed by an independent clause connected with a comma. This is called a complex sentence. How do you get complex sentences? Like what do you need in them? Well, you have subordinating conjunctions, often referred to as awubis. There's even more words than this that start with these letters, but teachers will often say awubis. Awubis makes independent clauses. These are subordinating conjunctions, and they start dependent clauses. They create an expectation of more information. So they make the clause depend on something else, on more information being given. So things like after the play, right? What about it? Although he is my friend. So if we just said he is my friend, that's an independent clause. But if I say, although he is my friend, you're going to lean in and think, ooh, she's going to say something petty. I can hear it coming. Although he is my friend, he annoys me sometimes. Okay. As the baby was crying, right? If you just said the baby is crying, that's an independent clause, could put a period. But if I say, as the baby is crying, I rock it and pat its back, or I would probably say her or his, but I need more information. That word as creates an expectation for more information. Same thing with when. When you get home, I'm expecting something. While the teacher was teaching, ooh, what were you doing? Tell me more. These words, when placed at the beginning of a clause, create an expectation and must be followed up with something else, or they must be in the middle of a sentence and the first clause was independent. Okay? So these are called subordinating conjunctions. If you don't remember that exact word, you can remember that they are the awubis words. They are the expectation words. They create an expectation. They create suspense. People are listening for more. So they create a dependent clause. Okay. Let's look at some complex sentences from The Giver. I went through the book and I did a little hunting since we're studying The Giver in 7th grade humanities. Let's look at the first one. After Gabe had slept soundly in Jonas's room for 4 nights, comma, his parents had pronounced the experiment a success and Jonas a hero. That first part before the comma is the dependent clause, starting with a subordinating conjunction, after. When you mentioned Fiona's hair, dependent clause, comma, it was the clue that told me you were probably beginning to see the color red. Since, that's the awubis, that's the one of the S words, since we've entered into the topic of climate, comma, let me give you something else. Even as he thought the word mound, his new consciousness told him hill. Dependent, independent. Now, bonus one at the end here. He had a sudden choking feeling. Oh, wait, there's no subordinating conjunction. There's no awubis. That's our dependent clause. Now look, as if it were difficult to breathe. There's my as, there's my subordinating conjunction. My second clause is dependent. Okay, asterisk. You might say, wait a minute, I'm advanced and I know that you don't always have to put a comma in a complex sentence. Correct. If you start the sentence with your independent clause, the comma can come or go, depending on how you want it to sound. But generally, I always use the comma in a complex sentence between a dependent and an independent. If you start your sentence with your dependent clause, like these first 4 examples, you must have a comma in the middle. It's the independent first that is a little bit more conditional. But again, when I'm teaching students a rule, it won't hurt you to use the comma unless it really changes the meaning. Listen, if there's no pause, you can leave it out. But that's only when you have your independent clause first. If what I've just said was way too much and you are experiencing cognitive overload, let it go. Put a comma between a dependent and an independent, or an independent and a dependent. It's a great rule. All right. Yay, complex sentences.